So today I want to chat about synovial joints, okay? They're the most common joint in our bodies. They're where we get most of our movement in our bodies, okay? So here I have a leg, okay? And you can see here is the femur, okay? We've got the tibia here, we've got the fibula here, and then right here is the patella, okay? This patella is kind of fused on this joint, but what I want you to understand is that within your own body, the patella is quite mobile, okay? So just keep that in mind about this particular specimen, that the patella actually should be quite mobile, all right? So we've got what's called the knee joint, all right? And the knee joint is a really beautiful synovial joint that allows for a lot of movement, okay? So we've got flexion and extension available to us, and there's also a small amount of rotation available in this joint as well, okay? Small amount, but it is there. Now, if we just look at this specimen, you can see that it's just bone, okay? But if we have only bone on bone, then the amount of friction that is there is extensive, okay? So the body's really brilliant and has thought up all of these solutions to that problem, okay? To allow for mobility and fluid motion, okay? So what the body has done is it has given us something that's called articular cartilage. And the articular cartilage in the knee is going to cover the articulating surfaces, all right? So I'm just going to kind of give this knee here some pretend articular cartilage, all right? Okay, so this green stuff is going to be our articular cartilage in the knee. All right, and it's essentially fused directly onto the bone itself, all right? So now you can see we have some beautiful articular cartilage available, all right? And so that articular cartilage is going to provide that smooth surface, okay, for the movement. But it doesn't have a lot of cushion in it, okay? So again, body's really brilliant, and so your body has come up with a solution for that. And the solution for that is something that's called the meniscus. And the meniscus is it's a little bit harder for me to show here, but I'm going to try, all right, with my red tape here, okay? So now I've got this layer of meniscus, and it's kind of like a ring, all right, that's going to provide cushion. So when we think about someone who is a runner, okay, if they don't have this cushion and they're compacting into this joint constantly, or anyone who walks, really, there needs to be some sort of structure that's going to allow for that compression to happen, okay? Now, on top of all of that, we have a structure called the joint capsule, okay? And it's essentially just a membrane, all right? And this saran wrap is going to act as that, okay? And it is going to be essentially the layer that just encapsulates the entire joint, okay? Now within this membrane is something that's called synovial fluid, all right? Synovial fluid is what it is a very viscous fluid, okay? So it's one of the best lubricants in the world, to be completely honest, all right? And so it's this really beautiful, slippery liquid that allows for the movement in this joint now, okay? Allowing for the articulating surfaces to slide over one another, all right? So those are the structures in the joint. But that synovial fluid has a really fascinating element to it. And this is where I think that our body is just so brilliant, and we're still learning so much about the body, okay? This has only been determined in the last few years, but that synovial fluid is actually non-Newtonian fluid, which means that when there is an impact, the fluid is going to respond to it, and instantaneously it is going to turn almost solid, okay? And then just as fast as it turns solid, it's going to turn to liquid, okay? And allow for that movement again. So again, thinking about someone who's a runner and they're constantly having this compression into this joint. This is why runners are able to do this and they don't have their joints disintegrating over the span of a couple of months, okay? They can actually run for years and years and years and have healthy joints because of the different processes and the different structures that are happening in this joint while they move, okay? So that liquid in the joint is responding to each impact, each force that is there, okay? So those are some of the really cool things about the joint. There's a lot of other stuff that we could talk about vasculature and innervation and that sort of thing. But today I just kind of wanted to go over the actual structure of the joint so that you could kind of understand the interaction between the different structures, okay?